Hi there. It's been a hot minute, I know. But welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Um, like I said, I know it's been a while since I've done any recording for this, like a while. But you know, it's no good to try and force these things, right? And you know, I had other stuff coming up, and just didn't have the most motivation to continue recording. But you know, time has passed, and you know, now I've got that spark again that makes me want to revisit this series, at least. At the very least, you know, I want to finish what I started with the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. I mean, getting this far into the two games and not seeing it through, you know, it's kind of a dumb move on my part, but like I said, you can't force yourself to do something, especially if you're, you know, not having a good time with it. But we're back now, and I have to try and get an idea of where exactly we are, because I do remember the broad strokes. Thankfully, the history thing gives you, you know, fills you in on the most recent dialogue. But I do remember we had revealed that Daily Vigil was actually, well, Gossip was posing as Daily Vigil, and that for whatever reason, Vigil had a weird relationship with old Greg Suss, where he would impersonate him for. That part I don't quite recall, or I don't remember if we recalled it, or if we even we figured that part out. But after reviewing the dialogue, there's we're not the only ones with weird memory problems, and it seems I left off at a pretty pivotal moment. Talk about a great time to take a months-long break, am I right? But anyway, should I present the evidence or not? What evidence are we talking about? Let's see. The car, yeah, the papers. I do remember that. Let's see. I think. Oh, here we go. Chief Warder Daily Vigil is relieved of his post because he did a big stinky, basically. In particular, did a bit of aiding and abetting, as one does. Jeez. Yeah, the circumstances upon his departure were clearly not, you know, rosy. And it seems like seems like we're gonna have to be the ones to remind him. Do it. I have no idea how this is going to go. Huh. Brother, neither do I. I'm kind of just fucking, pissing in the wind at the moment. But this is a court of law, and I have a duty to pursue the truth. Mr. Vigil, I'd like you to look at this. Evidence that clearly contradicts your version of events. Yep. The harsh reprimand that resulted in him losing his job as Chief Warder of Barclay Prison. I mean, I don't know. I don't got a good feeling about this, but, well, you know, we gotta reach out for the truth and all that.
Take that!
Just a few moments ago, you made the following statement. I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. Ah, well, yes. I definitely don't really remember the voice that I used for him, because he has a bit of an odd air about him. A certain melancholy aura, if you will. In other words, you claim to have left the post of Chief Warder of your own volition. Well, yes, of course. Why? Tell me. Do you remember seeing this document before? No. No, I don't. This is a dismissal notice ordering the immediate termination of a prison staff member's employment. I do remember this voice, but I don't know if I should still stick with that. I don't know if that was funny or annoying or not. A dismissal notice? And the name on the notice is yours, Mr. Vigil. What? What? It's mine. Also, hey, he got the baby slaps, just like Ryunosuke. So you didn't resign from the prison service at all. For some reason, you were dismissed Chief Warder from Barclay. No, there's been some mistake. I'm sure. I'm sure I tendered my resignation. This dismissal notice is nonsense. Oh, isn't it? If you were forcibly dismissed, there must have been good reason. Clearly, you did something. Mr. Vigil, it's time to break the seal and have you remember. Are you sure? You don't seem to be having a good time. Also, the large scroll. Can you really read that all so quickly? According to the few remaining records, the final execution that you supervised was on 17th of June, 10 years ago. And on that day, something very serious took place at Barclay Prison. Oh, man, this music is slightly ominous. The 17th of June? Was that the professor's execution? Yeah, I feel like we can pretty safely assume that. Professor? Layton? I hope it's not that guy. As you were the chief warder at the time, it stands to reason that you would have been present throughout the proceedings. It does sound familiar. And yet, that execution never took place. The convict, ostensibly executed earlier that day, later re-emerged from his grave. Yep, that I definitely do remember. The convict came back to life. Oh, sorry. In the cemetery, in the middle of the night, there was a witness. However, the witness claims that a moment after he saw the convict clambering out of his grave, he heard, he heard a gunshot. A gunshot rang out from over his shoulder, and the bullet pierced the professor's chest, killing him instantly. Yeah, that was a whole drama from the last case. Those may have been the professor's actual last moments. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Saying as you were in charge of overseeing executions at the time, you must know the truth about what really happened. It's in your head, somewhere deep down. Well, Chief Warder, Daily Vigil, I know there are memories in your head that can explain what happened on the 17th of June, 10 years ago. And now it's time for you to drag them up. Mr. Vigil? Clearly the recollection is not, suiting him very well. Yes, the whole prison, it was complete chaos. prisoner escaped. He was killed in the cemetery. The shocking news ripped through Barclay like a hurricane. What? What? I mean, that part shouldn't come as a surprise, because the dismissal notice did say something about aiding and abetting an escape. Order! 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 Again, order. Do you mean to say, Mr. Widgell, that your memories of the time have returned? My head, it's like some floodgates have been opened. The images, the screens. Oh, my goodness. The papers. There, the reports. Articles about a man who'd seen a ghost. Yes, Enoch Trevor. But surely those reports were exaggerated. There were traces at the scene. Traces of what? In Lowgate Cemetery, at plot number 139. Blood. Lots of blood. That's where the man was buried, of course. Obviously, something terrible had happened there. Ah, the depths of conspiracy and depravity from which this tale is emerging are quite staggering. Yeah, that's for sure. I've reviewed the police records from that time extensively. A thorough investigation was conducted by Scotland Yard to ascertain how the convict managed to escape in the first place. Yeah, I mean, breaking out of prison ain't an easy feat. And the conclusion reached by the investigating team was that a member of the prison staff must have been involved. Are you suggesting that a prison warder abated the man's bid for freedom? Yes. Yes. And I was suspected of doing it. Of using that mass murderer's execution as a way to help him escape. You did what? I remember now. The horror of it all is coming back to me. One evening, a few days after the execution, some detectives came to the prison. I was called to the governor's office at the top of the watchtower. Oh yeah, Barry Caden. It's still a funny name. I'm sorry, Daly. It's a serious business, but I cannot help you now. Yeah, I think he did have the prominent Scottish accent, which I'm not super good at. But we'll make it work. As chief warder, you were responsible for overseeing the execution of 4, eh? I'm glad the phonetic spelling is there to help me out, at least. Well, it seems the fellas at Scotland Yard want to have a few wee words with you about it. You'd better pack your things, laddie. You're to attend in person. As soon as he told me that, my mind just went completely blank, and the next thing I knew, Professor, the most hated killer in our country's history. And I let him escape. I'm finished. My life is over. Oh, shit. Oh, Jesus Christ. You okay, fella? Order! Order! Bailiff! Fetch a doctor at once! Is it gonna be okay? Court is adjourned for today with immediate effect. Okay, oh, well,
So, With Mr. Vigil's collapse,
sorry, Reno.
proceedings came to an abrupt end for the day.
Fair enough.
Once again overshadowed by the legacy of that notorious killer, appearing like a cursed ghost ship on a foggy ocean.
Oh, fucking Weirdoski the poet.
Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Vigil, Kazuma, and Gregson. All of them bound by invisible chains anchored to the same wreckage in the murky depths of the past. But the miraculous light that had been trying to cut through the gloom and shine on those tragic events was playing on the edges of the truth at last.
Hopefully in a good way. I mean, I don't know, sometimes revealing the truth can be pretty scary. To be continued. Well, darn, now I wish when I stopped recording that I stopped here. I mean, that episode would have been a little long, but this is definitely the more thematically or narratively satisfying point to leave off on. But yeah, I guess we're to take it to mean that Daly apparently threw himself out the window? Oh, back when that happened, I mean. No wonder he tried to block it out. That's pretty traumatizing stuff. Did I save? Let me just make sure. Double check. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, so investigation part 2. Okay, so the case is still going. When it's not like the end of the episode, but yeah. Okay, well we can get started. At least sorting out the well, where to go from here. 2nd of November, 3:38 p.m. Sholmbliss Suite. I still can't quite believe what just happened. I know. I inquired with the bailiff after the court session was adjourned, and it seems Mr. Vigil was taken to hospital to recover. Yeah, I guess, I mean, if you already have, like, poor constitution, you know, a mental, scarring, or in this case, remembering, I mean, yeah, that can mess with you, that's for sure. Right. 10 years ago now, Mr. Vigil attempted to commit suicide by jumping out of the window of the prison governor's office. Well, yeah, yes, jeez. But ever since then, he's completely blocked the memory of those events from his mind. Nobody knew his secret. Not his family, not even the man himself. But I forced it out into the open. Well, also Kazuma bears some responsibility, too, so, you know. It's not all the Ryunosuke show. Was it wrong of me to do that? Did I overstep the mark, I wonder? I mean, with these games, you know, even if the truth hurts, it's usually better to get it out there, you know? Rono! I assume that's Iris. Howdy. Oh, Iris. You are miles away. Anyway, I brewed a fresh pot of soothing tea for you. I'm still going to try and find the Peppa Pig voice a bit. Oh, thank you. You and Susie have had an exhausting day so far, haven't you? Yeah, you can say that again. Feels like I've been in court for months. Oh! Thank you, Iris. How thoughtful of you. Do you happen to know where Mr. Sholmes is? When we came out of the courtroom back into the defendant's antechamber, he disappeared. Oh, no, I don't know. He just suddenly sprang to his feet and left. All he said was, I must leave. I wonder if he's pursuing the mystery of Inspector Gregson's death. I mean, he was taking it pretty seriously before, so, I could buy that. You know what Hurley's always saying, don't you? There are mysteries in this world that should perhaps never be solved. Okay, well, seems like a weird thing for a great detective to say, but okay. Gah! But the construction of a solution comes only at the expense of the destruction of something else. What does that mean? Well, you know, it's like, you know, when a door opens, a window closes. When a window closes, a door opens. You know, you gotta take the good with the bad. You know, tomato, tomato. He knows very well that when you open up someone else's old wounds, you often open your own too. But he just can't take his own advice and leave well alone. Solving mysteries is too important to him. I mean, it is his job. That's so true, bestie. But that's what I like about Hurley, after all. I suppose that's a lot of a great detective in some ways. Yeah, that's for sure. So then, let's have tea, and then I'll give you a hand. That bop of a theme. Definitely, it's not a banger, but it is a bop. And, you know, it is worth qualifying. There's a difference sometimes. Yes, I finished this month's manuscript at last, with barely a day to spare before the deadline. Oh, that productive Iris. Popping out manuscripts by the month. Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. A brand new story to read in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. You know, I always hide Hurley's violin in the days before I have a deadline. You do? Poor Mr. Sholmes. I'm sure that's very wise, Iris. How sensible of you. Yeah, I don't want the, I guess, distracting you. The beautiful violin music. Now then, my dear fellows, let's make a plan of action before we continue our investigation. Before we do that, boy, it's been a while since we've been, or, well, since I've been here in the old, suite. Well, I was gonna investigate stuff, or I was gonna look around, because, you know, they do update the dialogue sometimes, but I guess not yet, because everything still has the red check mark. Not to be confused with the, you know, the Twitter blue check mark. Let's see, is there anything to present that she might find interesting? Oh. Oh no! What was I thinking? Why on earth did I show her that? Oh, okay. Yeah, so I thought it was just gonna be like a generic, oh, I have nothing to say, but she was actually responding to the fact that I showed him Gregson's identification papers, which would remind her of the fact that Gregson is dead. And I guess that was probably not a smart idea to do. She might be smart, but she is still like 10. Poor Gregsy. Sorry about that. At least I didn't show you the victim of the photo of his body. That would have been a real dick move. Anyway, let's just chat. You know, let's just have a nice little chatty waddy. Or a chin wag, if you will, to be extra British. So, how did it go in court this morning? Well, we still don't know the truth about what really happened, but one thing's increasingly clear. Yes, we didn't actually figure out much in terms of who shot Gregson, because, from what I remember, there's a lot of dicking around with the Redheaded League, and also, those 3 peddlers, and then we got into the stuff with Vigil, which kind of became its own thing. Lord Van Zykes definitely didn't do it. Oh, goody! I would have been defending 2 guilty defendants within the span of like a year. That would have looked really bad for you, Runo. Yes, that's right. He managed to uncover several new facts as well. Care to remind me? It's been a while. Oh, really? And there was another development too. Kazuma. Yes, it's quite clear now that Kazuma-sama is not himself. Yeah, he's a real hostile dick, from what I remember. The way he's acting, it's almost as if he's possessed. And definitely not the cool, calm, and collected Kazuma I remember. I know. I mean, at the end of proceedings earlier, he was like a bloodhound the way he was chasing down Mr. Vigil's forgotten past. Sorry. He's not normally so mercilessly persistent. What's going on in his head, I wonder? I really need to sit down with Kazuma and try to understand what he's going through. Yeah, to be fair, I mean, there was the amnesia thing and remembering about his death, or the time he almost died, and also his dad being a serial killer. I mean, that stuff does weigh on the mind. And, you know, daily Vigil's memories in regards to that were important. So I definitely understand his persistence, but, you know, still, be a little nicer about it, like, damn. Anyway, about the Reaper's innocence. If Gregson was really murdered the day before his body was discovered... Oh, so I guess we figured that out. See, I remember the broad plot details, but the specifics of the actual, like, murder itself, you could search me. Lord Van Zykes has to be innocent, you see. What? The day before? Well, that should be easy enough to work out, just by examining the corpse, surely. Yes, you would expect so, but curiously, no time of death was included in the autopsy report. Huh, that is pretty curious. Oh, yeah, that is curious. There are still unanswered questions about Lord Van Zykes, though, aren't there? Yeah, supposedly he was investigating Gregson as being part of the Reaper thing, if I remember. But, that seems weird. Ah, do you mean... I mean, what was he doing there on Fresno Street that day in the first place? Well, according to the man's testimony, he said that he was investigating Inspector Gregson, didn't he? And it turns out, that little room was actually the Inspector's secret office. Oh, that sounds like it has all the makings of a wonderfully devilish plot. But then, how was that notice board in there covered in all those particular papers? Papers about cases with a link to the Reaper. Or yeah, it was a link, well, Gregson was investigating the Reaper, and then Barack was investigating Gregson, and, well, either way, it's all a bit strange. Oh dear, that sounds more like something horribly devilish. Yeah, not delightfully devilish at all. We must start by looking into Inspector Gregson's movements of late. Gregson's movements. Well, I don't think he's moving much at all these days. I never imagined I might have to be investigating an inspector's movements. I mean, who investigates the investigators, you know? Well, according to the entry in his diary, which this is not the diary that I'm actually holding, this is just my generic blue book that holds all the information of the world in it. Or maybe it is Gregson's diary, who knows. He was carrying out an incognito investigation of the Red-Headed League the day before his death. Oh, you mean he was doing the same as Hurley? Oh yeah, we did find him with the wig on his body. I'm pretty sure that was planted. Well, Mr. Sholmes is trying to imply, whereas the inspector was supposed to be investigating. Though I could imagine him trying to sneak his way into the Red-Headed League too. I do wish it had been the other way around. Well, I mean, if it had been the other way around, maybe fucking Sholmes would have been the dead body. And that would definitely not have been cash money. Anyway, as it turns out, the inspector who went to investigate the Red-Headed League that day wasn't actually Gregson at all. It was Mr. Vigil, in possession of Gregson's identification. Which is still a strange relationship that I don't know what the link is there. You know what that sounds like to me? Establishing an alibi. Oh my! Yes, you're absolutely right, Iris. Wait. Establishing an alibi. But how would Gregson need an alibi? Wait, so you mean like by having Vigil go in his place as himself, people will be like, oh, Gregson was over here, when in actuality, he was somewhere else. Okay, I see. I didn't quite see what they were getting at first. It would appear that the inspector had something to do that he wished to keep secret. Seems pretty Greg sus to me, but... I don't believe it. I always thought he was just a harmless lover of fish and chips. But perhaps they were seasoned with something a little more potent than salt and vinegar. Lives, maybe. I think, perhaps, we should try to move away from food analogies. Well, anyway, Lord Van Zykes felt the need to investigate Gregson. Yes, I agree. We must try to find out what he knows. So clearly, we will have to talk to Barack when we get a chance. Anyway, how is Vigil hanging up? Holding up? Vigil, you say? Isn't that the name of the lady who came to visit Hurley yesterday? Oh yeah, I forgot the whole impetus that started all this shit was we were supposed to find Daly. So we did do that part. So hopefully Evie will be happy about that, even though we did technically put her husband in hospital. That's right. To ask Mr. Sholmes if he would help her to find her missing husband. Only Mr. Sholmes completely passed the buck to us. Actually, didn't you say that Mr. Vigil had been taken to hospital? Do you know which one? Ah, it's St. Sinners. I'm starting to wonder if all the other hospitals in London have closed down. Yeah, that's a good point. All the hospitals we seem to fucking come down to back to St. Sinners. But that's amazing, Bruno! You found the lady's husband already! Well, I suppose I have, but by accident. Yeah, it was really more of an incidental kind of thing, but hey, at least we'll get paid. And 10 years ago, while Mr. Vigil was the chief warder at the prison, he was responsible for overseeing the professor's incarceration. No! You're pulling me fucking leg! So when the convict escaped, he was held responsible and immediately dismissed. Sometimes I really don't want to grow up. Yeah, the world's an ugly place, Iris. There's more. For 10 years after that, while he was ostensibly working as a peddler, he also had another secret job. He was paid by Gregson to be his stand-in, to impersonate the inspector, to be his imposter, if you will. To impersonate Gregsy? But why? I have absolutely no idea. Jenny was right. I'm starting to think all adults are up to no good now. Yeah. I mean, fair enough. Including you, Bruno. Oh, okay. I know I said just said fair enough, but that's a little unfair. Trust me, I'm a good adult. I'm one of the good ones. I would totally be allowed into the Phantom Thieves. I haven't paid anyone to impersonate me. That means he has ties to the Professor and to Inspector Gregson, though. So I do think we ought to pay a visit to Mr. Vigil, don't you? Back to St. Sinners, then. Well, I think it's clear what we need to do, isn't it? Let us investigate, my dear fellows. Yeah, you know it. Oh, Iris. You're even more enthusiastic than usual today. If anyone has anything to hide, my special Wilson shooting iron will soon set them straight. That, water pistol. Oh, I thought this was like the smoke gun. Because, you know, I guess she does have multiple guns. It's stuffed full of a piping hot extra special blend of mine. Then I'm quite sure it will be very effective. But also, like, maybe a little too effective. If we don't end up having to defend you too, Iris. I'd better be careful not to hide anything. Well, it feels a little strange that Mr. Sholmes is nowhere to be seen, but still. Let's go and see what we can find out. Yeah, let's do it. But, we can do that, in the next episode. Because that's definitely as good a place as any to leave things off for now. Boy, hope Vigil will be okay, because that was a pretty intense, well, recollection. But more than that, though, we have plenty of other mysteries to solve. But at least now we have a good course of, you know, ideas of what to pursue. We gotta talk to Barack, we gotta investigate Gregson's movements, and we gotta talk to Vigil, at the very least. And I'm sure we'll probably run into Sholmes somewhere along the way. But until then, I'll see you around. And once again, good to be back, I guess you could say. Like I said, I definitely want to finish this this series, if nothing else. Because, well, I mean, yeah, it's a good game. I want to see how it all ends, you know? But anyway, until then, I'll see you around.